Hello, I'm Rod Lindgren. This is the story of my lifelong journey in the martial arts. Part 4. Now, again, this karate club was through the auspices of the University of Wyoming Adult Education Non-Credit Program. And as such, it was not a commercial dojo. The only money that came through that club was our yearly dues, and it wasn't very much. And when it came to testing and promotions, you didn't have to pay for a test, you didn't have to pay for a promotion. Woody told us that every time we step on the dojo floor, we are being tested. And we usually didn't have a clue when we were getting promoted. We'd have our closing ceremony during one of the formal workouts, and when we're all in seiza, Woody would call one or two or three of us forward and give us a promotion right there. As my first semester was ending, Woody decided he would put on a tournament. And it was both, fairly traditional tournament, kata and sparring. So I entered both, and I did well in the kata competition. And the sparring came up, and I'm a yellow belt, and so I'm fighting other yellow belts. And I win a match, maybe two. And then my next match is against one of my friends from the karate class, Ian. Now, I don't know if everybody else has this, but there was one guy that I just couldn't beat. I don't know why it was. He wasn't all that great, but I couldn't beat him. And that was Ian. So Ian and I sparred, and I lost. Big surprise. Well, again, it's a double elimination tournament. That meant that Ian was up in the winner's bracket, and he would beat somebody. And I'm down in the loser's bracket, and after he beat him, they'd send him down to me, and I'd beat him. And in the end, it was Ian and I again for the championship. Ian won. I don't know why. I just couldn't beat Ian. About a week later, there was another tournament in Cheyenne. Woody and I, and possibly a couple others, went over to the tournament. And I competed, and again did well in kata. Sparring didn't go so well at all. We were doing extremely strict non-contact sparring. In this tournament, they were making a little bit of contact, and if you didn't make a little bit of contact, you didn't score. So I didn't do too well. But what I did do was break a big toe. Now, this tournament was being held on wrestling mats, the three-piece wrestling mat that they roll out and tape together for a wrestling match. And they didn't tape the pieces together, and my support foot, big toe, got caught between the pieces of the mat as I was trying to do a round kick. Broke my big toe. It swelled up. It was painful. Pretty much disabled me for the rest of the semester. So I had a great excuse to just skip karate class altogether and just go on about my end of semester activities. But no, I went to class. I went every class, every day. And I just watched. And it was an eye-opener to watch what some of my fellow students were struggling with, what some guys were doing really well with. It was an education to sit and watch. Summer break came, and I moved back to Torrington, Wyoming, staying at my dad's house. Sometime every day, I would go out in the backyard and practice my kata, practice my basics, practice the things that I could practice alone. Every day. I didn't miss a day. Now, I was a lifeguard at the local swimming pool. One of the kids at the swimming pool was named Mark. And Mark was interested in learning a little bit about karate. So I invited him to come over for my workout. And I taught him a few things. Taught him how to make a fist. I taught him how to do a lunge punch. Taught him a few basic blocks. and we actually did some three-step sparring. So that was good for me, and I guess it was good for him. I don't know. Another nice thing that happened that summer was one of the upper belts in Woody's class, Joe Hageman, lived in the same town, lived in Torrington. And he came over to the house a couple of times to show me a few things and correct a few things, and it was very helpful. So one evening, I am listening to my Denver radio station, and they announced that there's a tournament, a karate tournament, Ralph Krause's Rocky Mountain Nationals. And I thought, wow. And they said, we're going to give certain callers free tickets to the tournament. And well, it's a long distance call. Anybody remember what long distance is? And but I'm going to do it. I'm going to call the radio station, and maybe I'll win tickets. Son of a gun, I won tickets. 2 tickets. So the tournament time comes, and I grab a buddy, and we drive down to Denver. It's about 3 hours away. We get there, we go to the tournament. It's a big tournament. I'd never seen anything like it. It was very impressive. We get done with the tournament, and I go out to the car, and there's a flyer on my window for something called Michi Martial Arts Supply. Cool. I mean, there's things that I wanted to get, some martial arts supplies and so forth, that I didn't know where I was going to get them. We didn't have internet back then, you know, it was hard to find. And so I looked at the flyer, and son of a gun, they're open till 9 o'clock at night. That means that I could get off work at 5, drive down to Denver, and get there before they close. Okay, well, that's going to be my plan. A few days later, I got off work at the pool, jumped in the car, 67 Mustang, thank you very much, and headed to Denver. I got there, they were open, good. A Japanese lady there, Michiko Ahrens, was the proprietor, and her husband, Richard Ahrens, taught karate in the back of the store. And so I got my order together, and she's tallying it up, and she's very personable. She's asking me different things, and she finds out that I'm from Wyoming, and it was a 3-hour trip, and she said, you didn't come all the way down here just for this, did you? And I said, well, yeah, I did. And she said, oh, I have to give you a discount. And so she did. And she and her husband and I, we forged quite a relationship over the years. Summer ended, and I returned to the university to begin my next semester of training under Woody Jensen. End of part 4.